and then Origen have to try and fight against a Jarvan and a Rumble with a Kalista. And as soon as anybody tries to get onto Kalista, Janna can just ult them away, push everybody back. Origen, on the other hand, have a fair amount of ability to blow somebody up. When you look at a Graves and Ahri, one person gets caught out, instantly gets removed. Also, Lulu's ultimate is going to provide a lot of safety against the death mark. Also, again, Black Shield. There's a lot of shielding here on the side of Origen to protect their carries.
Yeah, I mean, Black Shield specifically won't help a ton, of course, against the...
not against Zed.
But right, yeah, it's just protection in general. I absolutely agree. But yeah, super interesting. But before we get underway, flash over to Twitter and use the hashtags RGWin or OGWin to put in your vote for who you think will run away with this game. And we'll check in how it tallies up later in the match.
Yes, we will indeed. But, you know, RG or OG, that's a question that I think people have pondered quite a lot. But in this situation...
Where does your heart lie?
Where does your heart lie?
Yeah, I mean, the safe bet would be Origen, but then you saw yesterday, and then Reason Gaming almost upset them in like a 15-minute slugfest. Like, it could go either way in this one.
Could do. If it's anything like yesterday's game, I will be happy. Because we were sat there watching yesterday's game, looking at the screen, being like, oh my god, I can't believe this is just such a crazy game. But I hope it's something similar, because everybody's in for a treat in that situation.
So we are now heading into that game. Let's see if it lives up to the hype. And we do now have Reason Gaming on that blue side, spawning onto the Rift. And already, Seleva is binding herself to Libic. That was a kind of scrum of champions. It'd be horrible if you chose the wrong person. Okay, did manage to get Libic. There you go.
Got it. Nailed it.
Didn't have that weird thing as well where Janna gets dragged along the floor.
Oh, that was a funny couple of weeks when that kept happening. But
Origen, but they will be swarming out of their base, and they are moving in a tight formation. They are heading into their top jungle. They have the on-the-way ping to the upper jungle for themselves. Amazing will be bumping heads perhaps with Zayu, his counterpart. Zayu has not moved his head out of the bush just yet. And will we see Kuban seeing this aggression from Origen? Yes, we do. The Dark Binding goes wide. And they do carry on with this push. They know at least someone's going to be in the bottom side of the map, so they can get some aggressive wards down. And that defensive ward gets instantly taken away, so they maintain that control of the jungle. It just depends where they want to put those wards down, and even if they take more after that.
So, Miffy gets the lane swap checker of a ward down in the top lane.
I like that, lane swap checker.
Yeah. Trademark.
Coin it.
Yeah, they get the ward down just to double check. So if there is a lane swap, Soaz will be laughing, because Morgana just is so good in a lane swap. She's probably on par, maybe even a tiny bit better than Sion in lane swaps with regards to being 2v1. So Origen would be fine in that situation, and they're actually going to instigate the swap themselves now. So it's on Reason to try and do what they can against Origen. And what is going to be shown here in the jungle?
Wow, all 5 wards.
Yeah. And Zayu gets spotted out on his starting. And look at this, Soaz. And, Soaz and Amazing are waiting here for Zayu. They know where he is. Kuban smells something's up, though.
He sees him. He knows they're there. Miffy comes in from the top side as well, so it's now 3v2. Zayu is caught out. He's going to have to burn something. The Dark Binding goes wide. Okay, he jumps over the wall. Amazing takes his initial camp, be taking away the Grump. And also, we do see the Rumbles from the bottom side, just trying to get his poke in. But Amazing will be starting off this game, taking not only the Grump, but also the blue buff.
Yeah, I think Soaz predicting an earlier flash out there by Zayu, all it cost him was a Dark Binding. It would have been a kill if the Binding had landed. But in this situation, they use the Smite early on from Zayu. They get his flash as well. And Soaz gets the blue buff. And was that intentional is the question.
Interesting. Amazing stopped attacking it.
In that case, it was. Yeah. I was focusing on my screen on Zayu. So I guess it wasn't. Honestly, that is going to benefit Soaz so much. It means he can put the Tormented Soil down so often in that bottom lane. And one of the reasons that that Morgana is so good in a 1v2, as we see a lot of trading top.
Hello, Kuban. Welcome to your lane.
As soon as you get level 3 on Morgana, you become near undiveable. Black Shield, Binding, and Tormented Soil all work against a team trying to dive you. And you can see Soaz is actually happy to just kind of roam around the map for a first couple of levels, because Kalista's not actually pushing in too hard down in that bottom lane. So there's not a lot that Soaz would be able to achieve down there. Maybe he can get something mid, or maybe they just walk away.
Yeah, well, he moves in and makes his intent known. And now he'll just go back to the jungle and carry on helping out. Amazing. Kuban is having a depressing laning phase. He's currently 0 CS. Not too great, but okay, in the mid lane is taking a fair bunch of damage every single time Take Fun uses that Living Shadow combo with his shurikens.
So earlier in the day, we saw the Zed-Ari matchup go in Zed's favor. This time it's starting out in favor of Xpeke. Kuban just teleported into lane to take a lot of damage, but this time Limik is here up in this top lane with him.
He's level 1 though.
Yeah, he's going to try and equalize out a little bit of this pressure in the lane.
That also means Amazing and Sellers will move themselves up to the top lane as well. There is no wards in that bush, so Kuban and Libik are completely unawares of this gank. What do they have in terms of some of the spells? What would be burning the flash, and Amazing does not land his flash knockup. So they exchange a flash for a flash, which is not the worst thing in the world. Well, in this situation for Kuban, it's actually a massive thing, because Kuban now cannot sit in this lane like this, because as soon as he starts taking damage, he's no teleport, no flash. It completely removes him from experience range, completely removes him from the ability to get anywhere in this lane, and I'm still waiting on Soaz to just go down to the bottom lane, but quite frankly, he hasn't needed to yet. Kalista is freezing. She's even behind on CS in a lane that has had no opponent. How does that even happen?
So at this point, there's no reason for Soaz to go down there into the freeze without Amazing to help break the freeze. And right now, Soaz, he's at that level 3 point. He can just head back down whenever he wants. Yeah,
he's just he's going to stroll down there. Now he gets to his lane, but he's level 3 versus level 4 from Celeber as well. He has only 3 CS, but Kuban only has 4 himself, so it's not like the top laners have had too big a difference. Bot lane's winning, or at least the bot lane, as it were, everything was swapped around, but we do have Niels ahead and also the mid lane ahead, so this has been a very weird start to the game, but Origen do take the lead.
Yeah, they take the lead. However, Sullivan now has had the lane push in towards him now that Soaz came bottom lane and kind of broke a lot of the freeze that Sullivan was doing. But Amazing wants to break a little bit of mid lane as Take Fun.
Yeah, he comes up with the Prey Seeker and he has to flash away from the charm from Peke. This time he didn't need to burn any summoners from the side of Origin, so Reason Gaming do lose another summoner.
Yeah, Reason are just having their summoners blown all over the map. And I mean, Celeber has to farm his way into being okay, and you can see how this bot lane, now that Soaz isn't in a comfortable spot, Celeber can land a lot of damage down, and this is what Soaz cannot afford to happen, is Soaz has to sit further back. Man, that rend already.
Painful.
And this is actually now well played by Celeber, because he's forcing Soaz to not be as proactive in this 1v1 matchup, because it's not always pushing in towards Origin.
Well, Amazing always has someone to be his partner in crime as he moves through his jungle, and indeed the river is definitely taking control of the jungle. Xpeke does get Take Fun jumping on him with the Death Mark, follows through with the Shurikens, doesn't land that one, but Soaz in the bot lane flashes
nice
and
binding.
lands the binding as well. It shouldn't be enough damage to take him up. He does walk in range to get rendered though by Celeber, that 1000 range, and he will have to take a trip back to the base.
Oh, great binding though. It's a shame he couldn't get a lot of more damage down, but again, Flash has been burned from Soaz. That's a good little engage out of Celeber. Top lane, Mithy is being very aggressive here.
Yeah, Prey Seeker onto Zayu. They don't go for the fight just yet, and they are pushing it in, so maybe they go for the dive. Livik isn't choosing to head up. He's sitting in the base currently, just choosing where he wants to go. And Amazing is still around the area, but the wave has been pushed back, so they'll be just leaving for now.
Leaving for now, as you said. But Rek'Sai is deep into the enemy jungle. Maybe looking to capitalize on that flash being down here for Take Fun. Amazing wants to go in.
Yeah, he comes in for the gank, just got the knock-up, and this time the charm lands from Peke. Take Fun is a dead man, and that's the first blood going to Amazing.
Amazing just going back to the lanes where everything's working in their favor, and this Zed-Ari matchup is going completely differently to how it did earlier. This time Ari is well ahead in the lead.
Yeah, this has been a game where there's been a lot more mind games, a lot kind of going behind the Summoner's Rift rather than what's in there in front of you. But Soaz takes another hit, both from the Pierce and the Rend. He'll have to be pushed back even further here. And the top laners, they are still equal in CS. And Celeber will be putting down the damage. And while you look at the CS and it's like not the biggest difference in the world, you take a look at the gold total, 1,000 gold ahead from that first blood, and the little things they've picked up along the way.
Yeah, the summoners are pretty much what they've picked up again and again. And Amazing has been doing a good job of picking up the kills from those. That first one from the mid lane already, but this bottom lane, although Celeber, it looks like he's behind, you can see a big wave flash in the bottom.
Oh, flash into Pierce, and he walks right into a binding. Interesting play. Peke comes in and will get death marked once again. Take Fun does have a way out. He's looking for that shuriken to make sure he gets the kill. Ignite is ticking. Isn't enough. One more tick. Doesn't quite get it. Neither of them die from the ignites. They both pop their own potions as well to keep themselves alive.
Oh man, that's potions just coming in handy off that little trade there. But take into account that that was after Ari was able to get the first blood assist gold on that one. So when she backed away, now has even more items on top of that. But that was close. Take Fun nearly taking down Peke in the mid lane. Timed it very nicely, knowing the ultimate was not available for Peke in that little engage.
Yeah, so still in that one-on-one here. Amazing now heading into his jungle. And he'll be picking up his own jungle route. He's also gone from the skirmishes here and also picked up the warrior enchant, which is the normal bit, but going for the skirmishes, he initially had the Stalker's Blade, so he swapped that out and has now gone for this route instead. Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting at this point in the game. But let's take stock of where we are here with regards to items, because that's some very early items coming out from our junglers. Well, I say very early. Amazing has opted for that Skirmisher's Saber. Going to get that extra true damage. And down in the bottom lane, AD carries have reached some important items as well.
They have indeed. So Zayu moving through his jungle, or yeah, that is his jungle. Man, something weird just happened in my head and like everything just got...
Well, I can forgive you because of how much time Amazing has spent in the enemy jungle. They started the game in the enemy jungle, and now Amazing wants to use the enemy jungle to their advantage. He's behind Kuban.
The network set up, and Kuban has that flash, but it's got right into the jaws of Amazing, and he just takes him out. That's another kill going to that jungler, and now he sweeps out the wards as well.
And you know what? That gank path thing is what you'd normally see from a blue side Rek'Sai, because that's a tunnel that is very difficult to destroy when it's on your side of the map.
Right.
Amazing should never be able to get that kind of position to get in behind Kuban that easily, and this time you might have found Zayu here using that Tremor Sense. Man, that's something completely different. Using that Tremor Sense to his effect.
Yeah, Trevor Sense. I wouldn't want that power. But anyway, Zayu in the top side here was able to clear out a couple of those tunnels, and this time he's aggressing into that jungle of Amazing, even though Amazing, as you mentioned, spent so long in the jungle. I was like, is that really Zayu's jungle? I can't tell anymore. But Take Fun is sitting in that mid lane. He's slightly behind on farm. He is that kill behind, of course, from that gank earlier from Amazing. But in terms of just head-to-head up against Peke, he's not in dire shape.
No, he isn't right now. There's still a long way to go in this one, but this is a bit of a slower affair compared to yesterday's games. Both teams not really taking each other lightly, but Origen have built themselves up a lead again. They had a lead about this sizable yesterday, and it was Reason's ability to take the dragons very frequently that held Reason in the game. They took another good couple of fights to allow themselves against Origen to get to that stage where they're 53 minutes in and take a Baron fight. But, you know, in yesterday's game also, Origen were pretty much predominantly playing AP champions, 4 AP champions across the board. This game, a little bit different. Yes, they've got a lot of AP. It's not quite as one-sided as yesterday.
Yeah, so we were talking about the coordination as so as just finds Zayu here. He manages to block the flag and drag at least the CC part of it. Will be flashing out of the way of the equalizer, but he can't now get out of the cataclysm, and Zayu will just chunk him down one order at a time, and they get their first kill, and they're on the board.
However, Amazing, the other side of the map, is going to take out the first dragon of the game. He's going to look to solo that. Ooh. Or
found him.
Spotted.
But can they do anything about it? Because Libic is the one who's moving up here, but Take Fun's pushed to tower. Bot lane's also pushed to their tower, so they know about it, but it's not going to do anything. Peke in the mid lane. Once again, Take Fun jumps onto him and takes another tower shot. He's still bleeding. Those caster minions, it's still not enough. And again, he gets away with a sliver of his life remaining.
Okay, a lot happened in that last 10 seconds of the game. Top tower died in favor of Reason. Amazing picked up the dragon, and Zed got away. Still flashing up red because of how incredibly low he is. So overall, Dragon for tower trade is, you know, Reason. As long as they can get the next couple of dragons, they should be okay. But look at Amazing. Mid lane is starting to push in.
Indeed, and there's the tower in response. So they picked up the dragon from Origen, and they also pick up that tower 1 for 1. And Origen, you can see where the community stands stressed, 78% up against Reason, but we saw this last week, and it was 95% up against their opponents, and this has changed a little bit. And remember, guys, you can still vote and change that as we progress through this game.
Funnily enough, with the vote being a little bit, I guess, I don't want to say more in Reason's favor than it was last week for Gamers 2. Oh, hang on. Scrap that. In comes Amazing into the enemy jungle. Looking maybe to go bot lane here, as the bot lane are pushed up a little bit for Reason. Celever and Libic might be in a lot of trouble here. They do have the Janna ult to disengage if they can get in.
They heard the scream, but was it in bot lane? And Amazing's out.
I guess at that point, Amazing was just like, yeah, they've got everything. They'll just back away.
There was no support down there with Niels down there. So I just kind of expected him to go in because he had the whole setup and he came in from around the side and he didn't end up doing anything.
Yeah, the scream kind of alerted us to it more than anything at this point. But again, Amazing continuing just to push into the enemy jungle. And what do you do if you're Zayu here at this point? And the answer to that is not a lot. You just have to kind of ward up and hope that Amazing isn't right there.
Oh, there's the close-in. They managed to catch him. Miffy came from the bot as well. That was just complete entrapment all from around the side.
I mean, at that point, Libic, they know they've got no wards. He's trying to ward. But as I said, you've got to hope Amazing's not right there with the rest of Origen, because that's an easy kill.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup coming in from that team, and somehow Soaz managed to get the binding right through that minion line, and Kuban has to take a fair chunk of his health for that. And now 3-1 in this game. Again, Take Fun aggresses onto Peke, but this time Miffy's there for the backup. He gets the exhaust down, and Peke returns with the Foxfire and the damage, and he'll take Fun down for sure this time. Doesn't even need the Ignite.
So at this point, Take Fun is just trying to do something in this matchup. The problem is, Peke is pushed so far up, and they've reduced the vision of Reason, that the likelihood of somebody like Miffy being there just to assist, even with damage, that time just making sure that Peke was nowhere near to diving, was just very risky, and so is this. Celever doing a very similar play.
Again, just getting caught out here. There's the charm, and he just lines himself up for it. Line him up, knock him down, and Peke will come in there.
Libic.
Amazing from the backside. I feel like I've seen this one before, but however, the team is not behind him. He doesn't have the extra damage there, and he doesn't have the CC, but what they do take is the bottom lane, and Origen are all over this game. After that kind of crazy start where they had the coordination to go for that funny lane swap up, and everything went back to normality, but they kind of rode the wave of confusion.
And this is Origen smothering Reason Gaming right now. There's no two ways about it. They've pushed bot lane, they've pushed mid lane as well, and Soaz has completely neutralized top lane. Nothing Kuban can do up there can push against Soaz, who is just killing the wave and preventing anything from happening. And Reason are just kind of floundering with their options. They don't have much that they can do. Now they finally get into their own jungle and are able to control a bit of the vision, but it's only because Origen are backing away to buy items, which means they can do it again.
Yeah. And we'll see if they do that again, because Origen right now have those double Morellonomicons, so they've hit their power spike right there in terms of the mid game. And then the bot lane, of course, Nils is looking towards his Infinity Edge. He has the makings of it so far. And being back to base in a farewell. He's sitting in the mid lane currently, and with Dragon up in 2 minutes, he'll be going back to base and making himself as strong as possible for that one.
Indeed. One thing I'm looking out for Origen. Yesterday, in their game against Reason, they built 2 banners of command. Yeah, you can let that sink in for a sec. 2 banners of command. He's not lying, by the way. You can go, one on Soaz and one on Miffy. And what it meant was that for as long as Reason had at one point a Baron, I believe, and a 5th Dragon, never did Reason push against Origen. Because the Origen lanes were just far too strong. Because they're AP champions, it gives them a bit of AP as well. And Origen was so far ahead that they could, but Zayu in the top lane eats a charm, and Peke's just going to take this tower down.
Yeah, he doesn't use the rest of the charges. He'll just use that probably to get away here. Kuban is there to try and close in. Peke has to use another charge to jump away from Libic and maybe even get some more damage onto him as he returns. We'll get the Orb of Deception, and another charge comes in, gets the charm, but Kuban's already away. He comes in once again with the Orb of Deception, takes him out, and Kuban, I guess, just assumed his ally was able to get away, but that was not the case.
Libic just in dire situations right now. Libic is desperately trying to get himself some position on the map and get Reason back into this one, because this game, there's a big lead on it. It's not over for Reason. We were in the same situation yesterday and Reason bounced back. However, they need to take control of their own jungle so that they can see where Origen are coming from, because right now Origen are just coming from the shadows and there's nothing that Reason can do to control it, and Libic's trying his best. Unfortunately, every time he's just getting caught out.
And Reason Gaming have not been proactive in this game compared to yesterday. Look at their vision game just in general. Like, there's tunnels all over their jungle, there's wards all over the top side as well. Dragons now just spawned, and they only have one ward there. They didn't manage to control the crab, and just behind the pit, they only have a couple wards there. Now they're fighting for it, but it's just too late. And now Origen already have control of the area.
But Reason, if they can get the Cataclysm into the Equalizer and have Celeber pick up kills around the side of the fight, this is still a potentially good spot for Origen. They just can't get picked off. It's a good spot for Reason against Origen. That Origen cannot get the pick here, and they're going to start this dragon off. Are they going to commit to it? And you can see that Celeber wants to come around the bottom side of this fight, but Zed's not committing at all, so this dragon will go over. It's all on Zayu to try and get a steal here as he goes in.
Jumps in, doesn't get it, and now he may just be fed to Origen. He does go down. Can they pick up any more off the back of this, as they have picked up the jungler? Amazing jumps in. They force a flash, and the flash forwards from Soaz as well. Connects the binding. Livic goes down once more, and Celeber sticks around as well. He'll go out of the fight. Peke now comes in as well, tries to go on to Take Fun. Take Fun jumps in, jumps back out again, but he's right into the jaws of again Xpeke. 4 for 0 plus the dragon. What was that from Reason?
Reason to try and get the steal, but from that, the rest of the team are so close to the fight that Origen are able to just pick them off. You can see even Mythi survived at the end. This composition was just too strong around that dragon fight, even with Reason Gaming having what you would expect to be a better fight in that area. Right now, Origen are just so far ahead. And, you know, Amazing's just going to clear out the jungle and take everything for themselves.
It was just really weird because people just stood around. It's like, yeah, you can offer moral support, but you don't have to be that close to offer moral support for your jungler who's going to jump in there. And they just stayed around and got run down by Origen, and by the time they were on top of them, all they could do is turn around and maybe trying to pick up a kill in return, but it's really just looking for scraps at that point. Now 10,000 gold ahead, 9 kills over their opponent, 4 towers over their opponent, at 20 minutes. Origen have the definition of a commanding lead.
Yeah, and the commander in charge of their lead is Xpeke right now. 5-0-3. This has been his week. Last week, he had a good week. You know, had some good stat lines. This week, however, he has been doing so much work for Origen. And we talked about Niels coming into this game, but Peke certainly showing up as the veteran player that we know he can be. And I really want to see more from Reason in this game. They're a team that always seem to be on the cusp. And a team that I desperately want to be able to put in performances like we saw yesterday on a regular basis. But Origen have just completely shut them out so far.
Yeah, it just feels like a demoralized Reason Gaming. Like, they were so on point yesterday, they were trading objectives back and forth, and it just seems like the life's been taken out of them. Like, just from the laning phase, they fell behind, and they haven't really tried to make a play to catch up. We saw the dragon just before, but that was just a drop in the ocean.
It's something that tells you how far Origen are ahead is Amazing. He's actually got a very selfish build path. He wanted some resistance, but also wants to deal damage, so he's gone Sunfire Cape instead of anything like an Aegis or a Randuin's, where he's going to be able to just give everything to the team. This time, he's just wanting to get in there, start fighting a bit, and, you know, take control. The Equalizer comes out. Can Reason actually fight this?
They don't commit to the fight. They just throw down the Equalizer.
And this is a 5v4. Soaz is in the bottom lane, pushing in on Morgana. And
the legendary split push Morgana.
Yeah, it should be Zed that's splitting. Like, Morgana's wave clear and pushing potential is so good. The Reason can't do anything. One thing, Soaz has been a little bit greedy here in the fact that if Zed were further ahead, Zhonya's Hourglass would be almost necessary for Soaz very early on, but he's had to opt for Morellonomicon. They might have caught Celeber.
Does get caught. There's collateral damage, blasts him down, but he doesn't go down for the count. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Soaz is once again pushing, and Lanza binding from the side. He'll actually go all in. Lanza does Soul Shackles as well, but the Tower's chunking him down. Drops them incredibly low. That laser hurts when it starts to ramp up. Yes, they take the tower in the top lane, and Soaz gets away.
And imagine if that had been Zed. Imagine if Take Fun was the one dueling him.
Zed would have made him dead.
Yeah, exactly. With no Zhonya's Hourglass, Soaz could have been in a lot dire situation there. Yes, Rumble has a lot of damage, but the Zhonya's is really what we need out of Soaz right now. He's very close to being able to finish at about 500, 600 gold off, but Origen are playing a little bit greedy, a little bit too risky. Reason have stalled them out a little bit. The tower did die in the top lane as well, so again, Origen are continuing to just take control of this game.
Yeah, recent gaming have kind of been keeping up with the pace in terms of the CS. Of course, Saliver had that free lane at the very start of the game. He was keeping up in terms of CS with Niels. He's now slightly behind, but he's well on his way to a second item, and he's gone for this Blades Ruin King build, which we see sometimes when lanes get ahead. He's actually chosen to go for it this game regardless, and will be heading towards the Hurricane, which has kind of just found itself in Risk Callista builds.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Saliver... Yes, he's going to be able to get those stacks up a little bit. Okay, here we go, Take Fun.
Take Fun. This is Take 5. Does he get anything done? Libic is coming in from the sidelines, and Miffy's there as well. And Take Fun's just saying, peace out, I'm getting out of here. You can fend for yourself, Libic, but the rest of the team is there to try and push them away. Kuban comes in with a great equalizer as Peke is getting locked down. He flashes away. Kuban will be jumping in. So will Zayu. He gets to Cataclysm down. So has his ultimate once again. And this has turned on a dime. And Amazing is now trying to catch up. That would be the Binding coming in from nowhere. Doesn't pick up the kill. It's Amazing who gets it with the last auto attack with the Furious Bite chiming in for the assist. And a 2-4-0. Reason Gaming, they can't take anything back from Origen.
It's so difficult for them right now. You can see Saliver does still have damage, but he doesn't have the rest of his team around to actually continuously pick up those procs in the fight to be able to rend for a big amount of damage. This should be a Baron here. Amazing. They're a little bit low on this one. Will be okay as they juggle around. Baron will go down in favor of Origen, but right the way back at the beginning of that fight, Take Fun is using his ult pretty much just to get the ult from Peke, so Peke can't dive through to the backline and get Saliver. The problem with that is, Take Fun using his ult to do that is getting himself nothing. It's a purely selfless act, because he's doing it to try and save Saliver, because they know Saliver needs to carry this game if they want to win. However, Saliver's not in that kind of position yet, and Reason never get themselves to those kind of fights.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we've seen so many games where Saliver's somewhat gone under the radar for a little bit of the game, and then just turns up, had a decent amount of CS, does well in team fights, picks up some kills, but they have a total of 1 kill currently, and there's been no kills to go around the team, so he's not been able to get ahead, and as you mentioned, that has been the big issue.
They have as many kills as Origen have dragons at this current point in the game.
And now they're about to have more dragons than they have killed.
And that just ended. So second dragon on the board for Origen.
Well, they have 1 kill to match their 1 tower, I guess.
We're gonna count this as anytime it's 1. Everybody gets 1.
Everyone gets 1.
Oh dear, Saliver could do with a kill right now, though.
He could, but 15,000 gold behind Niels, going 1-on-1 against Saliver. Collateral damage as well. It does burst onto Libic before getting the extra damage from the explosion, but now they just take the middle inhibitor turret. 26 minutes in. This has been a fast game, Stress.
It has.
This has been half the duration of the last game.
It actually has. I mean, Origen, are they actually just going to push through? They have the Baron up. Minis. Equalizer has been used.
Reason Gaming, they go for the fight, though. They do throw Libic in. Go, Libic, do something. Zayu jumps in, he will be ulting him, he jumps out of it, and that's so much damage coming in from return. This time Take Fun will be using his ultimate, but he doesn't actually get any damage on top of the death mark. Peke turns around, he gets the reverse swing, and down goes maybe the hope of winning this team fight. Saliver bites the dust, so does Libic, his support, and Kuban is trying to run away in the top lane, and Amazing is making sure he's gonna die. So has used his ultimate as well. That's a dead Rumble.
And they're already on to the Nexus. There is nothing that Reason could do. Wow. Unfortunate for Reason.